You promised you wouldn't tell them.
I couldn't keep lying anymore.
The moment I saw her, elbow deep in my daughter's birthday cake, was the moment my patience snapped like a brittle twig. Years of grinding work, late nights, and quiet sacrifices had built my family's sanctuary, a modest slice of the American dream in Maple Grove, Indiana. But that sanctuary was under siege, not by a storm or a bank, but by a neighbor who wielded entitlement like a sledgehammer and lawyers like a private army. This is the story of how a single act of trespass, her hands clawing through my daughter's 8th birthday cake, ignited a war. It's a tale of rage, cunning, and a victory forged in the fires of defiance. Buckle up, because this one's a doozy. My name's Tom Hargrove, a 52-year-old civil engineer who designs bridges for a living. My job is about stability, precision, and making things last. My life mirrored that ethos. 3 years ago, I bought a 2,800-square-foot colonial on Lot 17 in the tranquil Willow Creek subdivision. It was more than a house. It was a promise to my daughter, Lily, a place where she could grow up safe, happy, and free. Our backyard was her kingdom canvas for pirate adventures, fairy tea parties, and makeshift soccer goals. Weekends were sacred. Pancakes in the morning, bike rides in the afternoon, and evenings tinkering with my 1969 Chevy Camaro, a labor of love I hoped to pass down to Lily someday. Willow Creek was the suburban ideal. On one side lived the Millers, a retired couple who gifted us tomatoes from their garden. On the other, the Garcias, whose kids played with Lily like siblings. We shared lawnmowers, watched each other's homes during vacations, and griped about the HOA's nitpicky rules over backyard barbecues. Life was good until the house on Lot 18, vacant for months, welcomed its new owners. The trouble began on a muggy June morning when moving trucks clogged our street for hours. I didn't think much of it until I met Maureen Caldwell, a woman with a platinum perm and a wardrobe of garish leopard prints, directing movers like a drill sergeant. Her husband, Victor, a wiry lawyer with a perpetual smirk, trailed her in pressed chinos. Their teenage daughter, Vanessa, strutted behind, her nose buried in her phone. I tried to be neighborly, crossing the lawn with a 6-pack of local IPA. "Welcome to Willow Creek," I said, offering the beers. Victor glanced at them like they were roadkill. "We don't do that," he said, waving a dismissive hand. Maureen's eyes scanned my house, my faded jeans, and then me. "It's just so impressive," she purred, her voice thick with condescension. "To see someone like you in a place like this." That someone like you hit like a slap. I'm a black man who'd clawed his way up from a rough neighborhood to a corner office. I'd heard that tone before, but never in my own driveway. I forced a smile, retreated with my beers, and felt the first crack in my idyllic world. The real war started a week later. My Camaro was at the shop for a carburetor tweak, so I was driving a rental sedan. Pulling into my street, I found Victor's hulking silver Escalade parked in my driveway, not blocking it, but fully on my concrete, its tail end well past the property line. I sat in the car, stunned by the audacity. This wasn't a mistake, it was a power move. I knocked on their door. Victor answered, looking inconvenienced. "Your car's in my driveway," I said, keeping my voice steady. He barely glanced at it. "Maureen must have parked it there. She's not great with boundaries." No apology, just a shrug. "Can you move it?" I pressed. He sighed, theatrical and annoyed. "We're eating dinner. It's a bit inconvenient." I blinked, incredulous. "Move your car, Victor. Now." His eyes narrowed. "I'm a lawyer, Tom. I'd watch your tone." Maureen's very sensitive. He made a show of grabbing his keys, moved the Escalade a grudging 6 inches so it teetered on the property line, and shot me a venomous look before slamming his door. That was the moment I knew. This wasn't about neighborly quirks. This was a declaration of war. The Caldwells escalated with surgical precision. Their 3 cars, Victor's Escalade, Maureen's BMW sedan, and Vanessa's cherry red Mustang, were parked haphazardly, often blocking my driveway's exit. Backing out became a gymnastic feat. I left a polite note on the BMW's windshield. The next day, it was shredded and scattered across my lawn. Their trash cans lingered curbside for days, violating HOA rules and drawing raccoons. Their late-night parties shook my windows with bass-heavy music and drunken shouts. Vanessa and her friends treated the street like a drag strip, their tires screeching at midnight. I fought back methodically. I started to file dates, times, photos of their infractions. I recorded decibel levels of their parties and captured Vanessa's burnouts on video. After 3 months, I took my evidence to the HOA board meeting in the community center. I presented my case, clear violations of bylaws, documented to the letter. The board, led by a pompous realtor named Gerald, seemed unmoved. Then Maureen stood, clutching a tissue, and unleashed a performance worthy of Broadway. "We're just trying to fit in," she sobbed. "But this man has been terrorizing us, spying, leaving threatening notes." Victor chimed in, smooth as oil. "My wife's delicate. This harassment has caused immense distress. We're a law-abiding family, unlike some people." The board bought it. Gerald banged his gavel. "This is a personal dispute. The HOA doesn't intervene. In fact, Mr. Hargrove, consider this a warning for harassment." I left the meeting not as the victim, but the accused, Maureen's smug whisper echoing in my ears. "Know your place." The Caldwell's daughter, Vanessa, was another thorn. At 19, she oozed privilege, driving her Mustang with reckless abandon and tossing beer cans onto my lawn. But one night, working late in my study, I saw something that shifted my view. Around 2 a.m., Vanessa's Mustang coasted silently to the curb. She stepped out, nervous, not her usual swagger. A battered pickup pulled up, and a young woman in a hoodie emerged. They embraced, not a casual hug, but a tender, desperate one, followed by a kiss that spoke of hidden love. I watched, hidden by my curtains, as Vanessa's tough facade melted. She was trapped, living a lie to appease her parents' image. I could have used this secret to crush them, but it felt wrong. This was her life, not my weapon. Still, it gave me a glimpse of their fragility, a house of cards waiting to fall. Their harassment intensified. Certified letters arrived, pinned by Victor on his law firm's letterhead, accusing me of intimidating behavior and stalking. Each was a twisted rewrite of reality, painting me as the aggressor. The stress gnawed at me, sleepless nights, tense days. My sanctuary felt like a bunker. I installed security cameras, spending $1,200 to protect myself from their lies. The irony stung. I was bankrolling my own defense against their chaos. The breaking point came on Lily's 8th birthday. She'd begged for a princess-themed party, so I transformed our backyard into a fairy tale kingdom, twinkling lights, a castle-shaped bounce house, and a 3-tiered cake adorned with edible tiaras. It cost a fortune, but Lily's gasp when she saw it made every penny worth it. The party was magic, kids laughing, parents chatting, the air sweet with summer. I stepped inside for a minute to grab napkins. When I returned, the yard was silent, all eyes on the cake table. There was Maureen, uninvited, her face buried in the cake's top tier, scooping pink frosting with her hands, grunting like a hog. Crumbs coated her chin. Lily's eyes welled up, her dream ruined. Rage surged, but I kept my voice low. "Get away from my daughter's cake." Maureen looked up, unashamed, licking her fingers. "It's just cake, Tom. You people always overreact." That phrase again. I didn't shout. I placed a hand on her shoulder and pushed firmly, not violently, moving her from the table. She stumbled, then unleashed a banshee scream. "Assault! He's attacking me. Call 911. Victor sprinted over, phone in hand, bellowing. "You're going to jail, Hargrove." The party dissolved. Parents whisked their kids away. Lily sobbed inside. 2 cops arrived, an older one, weary, and a younger one, jittery. I explained. Uninvited guest, destroyed cake, a gentle push. Victor spun a tale of unprovoked violence. The older cop sighed. "No witnesses, no clear evidence. This is a civil matter." Victor's face purpled. "I'm a lawyer. This is assault." The cops took statements, issued a case number, and left. No arrests. But 3 days later, a process server delivered a $200,000 lawsuit for assault, emotional distress, and absurd trespass. I was drowning. Victor's legal barrage was designed to bankrupt me. A lawyer friend warned, "He's got the resources to bury you." Fighting in court was a losing game. That's when something shifted. Rage replaced fear. If the system wouldn't deliver justice, I'd craft it myself. I spent nights researching not engineering, but revenge. In obscure forums, I learned about property law and welding. A plan formed, audacious and precise. Victor's Escalade, Maureen's BMW, and Vanessa's Mustang weren't just cars. They were their egos on wheels. I'd hit them where it hurt. I bought a portable welder and scrap metal with cash, using a fake name and a P.O. box. I studied their routines. Saturday mornings, they were gone, Victor golfing, Maureen at a salon, Vanessa with friends. They'd also planned a 10-day trip to the Bahamas, perfect for my alibi. I booked a trip to Orlando for Lily and me, a chance to reclaim her joy. The night before our flight, I struck. At 1 a.m., under a moonless sky, I dressed in black and wheeled my welder to their driveway. The Escalade's rear bumper, as always, crossed onto my lawn, a legal justification. I welded a 150-pound steel slab to its axle, layering molten beads until it was immovable. I sealed its doors to the frame with thick, ugly welds. For the BMW and Mustang, I welded a rusted I-beam across their roofs, fusing them together. 3 hours later, their driveway was a junkyard monument. I etched "civil dispute" onto a metal scrap and left it on the Escalade's hood. My camera, shy def, night vision, captured every spark, my face hidden by a welding mask, the Escalade's trespass clear. In Orlando, Lily's laughter at Universal Studios healed my soul. My phone buzzed with furious notifications: HOA fines, police inquiries, a new $350,000 lawsuit for property damage. I ignored them until day 4, when I checked the camera feed by our hotel pool. The Caldwell's return was comedy gold. Maureen's scream, Victor's futile door yanking, Vanessa's despair. A tow truck driver laughed and left. The cars were unmovable. The same cops came, stifling grins. The older one pocketed my civil dispute note, shoulders shaking. Back home, reality hit. The cars remained, wrapped in police tape, a neighborhood spectacle. The HOA fined me $6,000 for property alterations. Detective Larson wanted a voluntary statement. The lawsuits totaled over $500,000. Panic crept in, but Lily's smile anchored me. I needed a warrior, not a lawyer. After days of searching, I found Diane Kessler, a 60-year-old litigator with a hole-in-the-wall office and a reputation for shredding bullies. She watched my footage, her eyes gleaming. "You're nuts, Tom. I like it. But your defense is shaky. We need leverage." Diane buried Victor in motions, mirroring his tactics. She filed a countersuit for racial harassment, citing Maureen's "you people" jabs. A private investigator dug into Victor's life. A memory surfaced. Months back, I'd overheard him on his patio, voice panicked, saying, "The market crashed, it's all borrowed." The PI struck gold. Victor wasn't a firm partner, but a solo lawyer, juggling client funds to cover bad investments. He was one complaint away from disbarment. Then, Vanessa approached me by the mailboxes, pale and trembling. "I know you saw me that night," she whispered, referring to her secret girlfriend. "If my dad finds out, he'll ruin me." I promised silence. To my shock, she offered more. "He keeps a ledger in a safe behind the nautical painting in his office. It's all his shady deals." This was dynamite proof of Victor's fraud. Diane pounced. At a court-ordered mediation, Victor's team painted me as a menace. Diane waited, then struck. "We'll subpoena your financials, Victor, starting with the Peterson Trust. That withdrawal last June. Curious timing with your stock losses." Victor's face collapsed. Diane mentioned the second ledger in his safe. Checkmate. He signed a settlement. All lawsuits dropped, my legal fees paid, and a restraining order with a $75,000 penalty for future harassment. The Caldwells vanished into their house, ghosts of their former arrogance. A crew dismantled my sculpture, leaving their driveway scarred. Willow Creek was quiet again. Vanessa caught my eye one day, tossing a frisbee alone. I nodded. She nodded back a silent truce. I'd won, not with fists, but with strategy and steel. This fight wasn't just about a cake or cars. It was about standing up when the world tells you to kneel. I'd love to hear your thoughts in the comments. Was my revenge justified, or did I go too far? How do you handle bullies and injustice in your life? Share your stories, and let's debate, because these battles shape who we are.